Hello friends, this is Manjunath Chandraya. Today's session we learn basic VLOOKUP. As you can see, I have a tab called basic VLOOKUP. So I have a small data from A to D, the employee numbers and name, looking for a working days and wages. K to N column as the employee working days and wages. So we are trying to pull from K to N column into the C and D, the working days and the wages. So before putting VLOOKUP, the first thing we should keep in mind is we need to find a unique factor or a unique column before putting a VLOOKUP function. Why is necessary that we need to have a unique column is if you don't have a unique column, then the value which is picked will be incorrect. For that reason, we need to first of all we need to find the column which is unique in the nature. Let's try the name column. So to find the uh, unique values, you can use condition formatting. Go to home, condition formatting, highlights, go to duplicates. So as I clicked on this, you see now you can see it is popped up with right Ram and Sham as repeated twice. So this column is not unique in nature. So we'll ignore this column. Let's try employee. So highlight duplicates. Now you can see this A column doesn't have any colored cells. So it means there is no duplicate in this column. As you know, employee numbers doesn't have duplicate since every person has a unique employee number. So I'm happy with this column. When you do this, we need to do the same thing in the column, in the master column. It's nothing but here. So I'll go to select the directly employee number, use the home, condition formatting, highlight, duplicates. So, and the K column is also no duplicates. So I'm happy with these cells. So once you find the unique column, then you can start putting the VLOOKUP. So as you know, we're looking for the working days. So in the master data is nothing but here. So from if you start from here, employee number is 1, 2, third column. Third column has the working days and fourth column has the wages. That you need to keep in mind. Let's start putting the VLOOKUP. So we already find the unique column, that is, so you can start a formula using plus or equals VLOOKUP open bracket. So people sometimes they'll directly write the formula here, and that is also fine. So I usually use the insert function. So as you can see, it's it's popped up with the 4 boxes. Lookup value is nothing but the unique column value which you have found. So I know that column A is the unique in nature. So it says value. So I need to select the particular cell. So table area is nothing from the is where you're trying to get the data. So table area. So I've started the employee name employee as A2 to table area. You need to start from employee itself. Employee to so working days. So it says 3C. 3C is nothing but 3 columns, third column. So as you can select the range and 3 0. So as you can see 21 is the value, it is already showing here. So using this it gives you result so that we know that whether you're typing the formula correctly. Let hit OK. So copy the formula down. Now you can see its value is picking. So example, if I say example in Sham 101, I'll just click on this. Now you can see this range is going down. Why? Because the range what you selected, we are not logged the cells. If you don't log the cells, the range keep on going down when you copy the formula down. See, if I copy the formula down, see now the range is going down. Obviously it is doesn't check in the correct parameters. So for that reason, what it do, for that reason we need to freeze the cells. So let's again do select this table area, hit F4. F4 what it does, it add a dollar sign which going to log the cells. So once say OK, copy the formula down. So now you see, now the range is not moving. That is very important. When you're trying to select only the particular range, then you need to freeze the that range. So let's start here for the wages. Same thing, we look up, open bracket, it's if insert function. So lookup value is nothing but employee number 103. Table area, again it will be same thing. So what I'm right now what I'm doing is I'm selecting the entire column. So when you select the entire column here, so no need to freeze the cells because the range will take anywhere in this k column to n column. So I know fourth column is the wages 1, 2, 3 and fourth column. So lookup value is range lookup is nothing but you should always put 0 because you need to get the exact value. Either you can put 0 or you can put it as false, because as you can see here it says true is for omitted, find the exact match is equal to false. So we need to find exact match, so you can use the 0 here. So click OK, drag the formula down. Now you can see because the range is full, so it is not moving, so no issue. So the value is picked here. So very simple, but always keep in mind that you need to find the unique column before putting a VLOOKUP, right? Let's move on to next column, next tab. So we have some data here, customer, product, and we need to find the sum. So in the next tab it says master table. It has customer, product, and the amount. So we need to pull this amount into the VLOOKUP tab. So for that, again, first criteria is to find the unique column. Let's try with the customer B column. So home, condition formatting, duplicate values, highlight cells to duplicate values. Now you can see entire column has the duplicates. So we can't use this column. Let's try C column, condition again. Again this has all duplicates. So both the columns here now has duplicates. So we can't use this. What we can do is in this type of scenario, you can go ahead and merge these two cells and find a unique, make a unique column. Let's do that. So I'll just add a column name as Matt. Any name you can give it. So I'm just, so for merging these two columns you can use AND function and or the concatenate. So let's use AND function here. So I selected this cell, I'll add AND double quote hyphen, again double quote, and you always remember when you add a text or a special character you should start from the double quote, end with the double quote. So I'm adding a special character, so I started with the double quote, end with the double quote, and the next product C4. So now you can see it is differentiating using the hyphens. So let's check whether this column is in unique in nature. Highlights, duplicates. Now you can see there is no duplicates highlighted here, and we are good to use this column. What you have created here, you need to create the same thing in the master table for the same columns. So you should not change the criteria. So Matt, so I'm trying to use this same, select the cell and open the double quote hyphen, end with the double quote, and select the product cell. Just copy and drag it down. Let's try doing the check the whether it is unique in nature. It's very important to check both the master and the lookup table whether there is a unique in nature. As you can see, there is nothing is highlighted here, so we are good to use these columns. Once you find the unique column, then you can use the VLOOKUP. You can use the lookup VLOOKUP, open bracket, hit the insert function. So lookup value is nothing but the unique column which you have selected. It says value, select one cell. Table area is nothing but the master data from where you are trying to retrieve the totals. Go to master data. So since we are trying, this is the unique, mat column is the unique, so we'll select from here the range. See, as it says, fourth column is the amount column, 4C. So I'll go ahead and log the cell, that is important, using F4. Use 4 for the fourth column. And range lookup is nothing but 0. We need the exact values. Always use 0 or false. Just drag it down. See, now it is taking the exact values. So very important when you are not able to find a unique column, so that you can merge 2 or 3 or a number of columns to get a unique column. Once you get the unique column, you repeat the same thing for the master data, and if you once the both the criteria matches the unique columns, then you can put a VLOOKUP and get the retrieve the data. That is very important, guys. HLOOKUP function. The first thing you to know is what is HLOOKUP. As the H stands for a horizontal way. Horizontal way is nothing but the values are checked on a row wise. So you can see here HLOOKUP is a Excel function to look up and retrieve data from a specific row in a table. So usually HLOOKUP looks data on a row wise, whereas in the VLOOKUP, data is looked on a vertical lookup, nothing but column wise, whereas HLOOKUP on a row wise. Let's start. So have a data here, employee data, employee number, name, working days, and wages. And the data is in row wise. As you can see, the employee numbers on the row 6, name on the row 7, and working days again it's in row, wages also is on the row. The data is not on the vertical side. So since the VLOOKUP doesn't work on this, so we need to use HLOOKUP, much easier to do. So everything is same, just we need to add the row numbers. Let's start. So I have a data here where I need to get the values from this source. So I have employee numbers 103, 100, 106, 105. I need to get their names, working days, and the wages using the HLOOKUP. Let's start. So in the name column, I use HLOOKUP. Click on the tab for the open bracket. You can use this insert function, right? So it's asked for lookup value. Since we have only the employee numbers, and employee numbers are the constant, so we can use this as the criteria to look the data in this source. So let's say select 103 C14, go to the table area. Now the table area is the data which we have. So you can select it from employee. So as you can drag it down, so now you have selected the entire data and the row number. So now you need to be careful what you are selecting. It's asking for a row number, index number. So we started from here, right? So as you can see, if I was selecting and dragging the cursor down, it says on the right column it's a 2R. 2R is nothing but second row. As I go down, it says 3R. Again, if you go down, it says 4R. So we know our data is in which row number. So starting from, if it says 1, 2, 3, and 4th row. So okay, I just selected this. So we do it like that again. I select the data. It says still 4 row. So they will be looking for a name. Since we are selecting from here employee number, and the second row is nothing but the name. So we can give the 2 as the row number. Range lookup is nothing but what you're trying to look. So lookup is, are you looking for an exact match? Since we need to get the data on an exact match, we'll use the 0 or false. Click OK. So now we're able to get the name of the employee for 103. Now you see 103 lamb. So we need to get the working days. Let's copy this formula down. Now you see data is not picking. If you copy it down, so data is not picking. The reason is the range what you have selected is keep going down and is not in the correct source data. So for that reason we need to log the cells. So I'll go to the first cell where I put the formula. Now I'm going to go ahead and log the cells using F4 function. Once you click F4, it logs the both the C6 and the F9 with the dollar signs. Now click OK. drag this formula down. Now you can see the values are picking correctly. So I need to get the working days and the wages. So we can copy this formula to the right, but the range is locked, right? And uh, the cell what we have selected is showing D14. D14 is nothing but name column. So we can use the 103. For that you can see the name it is taking, but we are searching on the basis of employee number. So we need to change it to C to get this. But I can't go and do every time selecting this for changing the cell. So what we can do, go here, click on this function box in this cell. So we need to log this C column. So I don't want to log the number because I'm copying this formula down. So it is goes from 14 to 15, 15 to 16. So I just want to log this column C because employee number is in the column C. So let's go ahead and log this C by using a dollar sign to the left hand side. So you can put the dollar sign now to the, so now it is, we are only freezing the C column. So now hit OK, drag this formula down. Now copy this formula to the right. See, now you see here it is not changing, the row is fixed. Only thing we need to change is the row number because employee number is 1, name is 2, 3, working wages is third row from starting from here. So we need to change the row number here to 3, hit OK. Now you can see, drag it down. Now it has picked the row numbers, working days, sorry. For the wages, copy this formula down. So now it is taking the wages data. Since we need to change the row number to 4. Because why 4? Wages is in the fourth row. 1, 2, 3, fourth row. So now you can see the values are picking here. Click, drag it down. So we will check one data, 103. Name, the working days is 21. Wages is 350. It's very simple, guys. Only thing different between VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP is in HLOOKUP we use the row wise criteria, whereas in the VLOOKUP we check the column wise. So just need to give the row number. So everything is same. So very simple and easy to use right, mid and len functions. So I have a data here, serial number, customer name, column C as state, company and mobile number all combined in column C. So what we are trying to do is trying to get the state, company and mobile into different columns. So I need state in D column, company in E column, mobile number in F column. So how can we get this combined cells into a different columns using these left, right and mid functions? So first of all, we need to know what is left, right and mid and len functions. So left is the function pulls left side characters in a particular cell. Say in this column C2, the left function what it does, it starts searching from this side. Say AP hyphen 1001, so on, it goes to the end using the left function. Whereas the right function pulls the right side characters in a particular cell. So the right function what it does, it starts checking from this side 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 8, 0, 0, so on to this end. So middle function pulls the middle characters in a particular cell. Say in this C column, you can see that state is in the left side, mobile number in the right side, the company code is in the middle. To pull the company code, you can use the mid functions. Len is nothing but the function returns the number of characters in a given text or a cell. So what it does is when you use this function, it calculates how many characters in this particular cell. It includes alphabets, number, special characters, space, anything, any other characters also counts and gives the number of characters in this particular cell. So let's start using the function to get all this state, company and mobile number. Let's use left function because we need to get the state. So the left function work from left hand side. So let's use left here, left open bracket. So you can use the insert function. So it gives a function argument. So we can know what we need to put in this particular box. So it says text. So let's select the C2. So now it is selected here. So number of characters. So you need to know how many characters you're trying to pull. So state is in two characters. You can see the APR, BR. So we'll select two here. As you put two characters, it gives the result immediately here. So we know what result it's going to give using these parameters. So let's click OK. So before copying the formula down, you should remember whether the all the rows having the same characters. Say APR2, AR, BR, CG. So once everything is same, this formula will pick. So this, for example, here it has three characters. It will only pick the two characters. So make sure that just check everything has constant two characters. So now it is everything is fine. So we'll drag this formula down. Right. So you can see this. It has pulled all the characters here. So we got the state. Let use write to function to use get the mobile numbers. So let's use in the equals RH to write open bracket, use this insert function. So it's as text as usual, select C2. So number of characters. So do remember, so how many characters you're trying to pull. So this is a mobile number, obviously has 10 digits. I can use 10. So example, you have another number, we're not sure, just keep putting the number and see what result is coming here. So you can increase the characters. So I use 10. I know this mobile number has 10 digits. Okay. So just click OK. So now you can see it has taken. Now you can, what we do, we pull this down or copy the formula down. Now it has taken correctly. So we got the state as well as the mobile number. We need to pull the company code. So it is in middle. So we use the mid function. MID mid open bracket insert function. So here you have one more box. So let's select text as usual. It says start number. Start number is nothing but from when you need to pull the from which number we need to pull the characters. See, I need the company code. So it's let's count. So we'll go here. So AP A is one character, P two characters, hyphen three characters. One is the fourth character. We need to pull from fourth character. So we'll give 4 here. So number of characters you need to get is nothing but, so you know company code has 4 characters. You see 1001. So I can give 4 directly here. Now you can see this. In case if you don't know, you can just keep on giving 2. See it's taking something. So add the increase the number. Again increase. So you can know how many characters you need it using this function argument. So now it is fine. Let's click OK. Copy or drag this formula down. Now you can see the company code is pulled. So everything is in formula now. So if you want to keep it the formula, you can keep. Otherwise, select this entire range, copy, space, special values. So the formulas will go off. The values remains. Very simple, guys. Only thing you need to know whether it is a constant characters. So what about len? So just insert a column here. So it says it counts the number of characters in a cell. Let's say the mobile number has 10 characters. If you put this formula len, I should get 10 characters. Say it asks only one option. Select the text. Now you can see the result here 10. So it gives it 10 characters. So you can drag this down. It gives 10 characters. Let's change to company. Obviously it should be 4 characters. So it gives 4 characters. So you can double click this. It will take down. For the AP len, set 2 characters. Usually len used with other functions. It's combined function. They use len in the left function or right or mid. Do a multiple data. So this is a basic we can use to know how many characters in a cell. To use countif and countifs. So if you are new to this channel, do subscribe, hit the bell icon for more interesting videos and learnings. What is countif? There are two functions. One is called count if and count ifs. So count if is nothing but single category criteria. So it gives single, we can count based on a single criteria. count if is nothing but, as the name states, we can do a multiple criteria. We go by one. So what is count if? As it says, counting based on some criteria. So we have the customer here. I want to count how many times Dan Brown has repeated in this H column. For that, you can use count if function. So you can use CO, when to count if, open bracket. You can use this insert function. So it's asked for your range. So you can go directly range. It will be H column. In this, we are trying to look for what? So in the H column, we are trying to look for Dan Brown. So I'm selecting this criteria as 1. So criteria is always will be 1. Range is nothing but. So keep in mind, whenever it says range, always go to the master file or the master data, right? Okay, let's click OK. So now you can see Dan Brown has repeated 3 times, Robert 5 times, Tom 1 time. You can see all this. It's very simple, right? It gives the number of counts, and very simple and very useful whenever you want to count, but based on a criteria. Okay, right. Next example we are going to do is, we have a data here. So we have numbers. We need to count, which is, say example, this criteria is already set. Count if based on a criteria greater than 10. We need to know which are the criterias, which are the numbers which is greater than 10. So we have a data here, right? So let's try putting the count if function here again. Count if, open bracket. So since it says range, I'll go ahead and select this range till here, right? So criteria. So we have the, what is the exam criteria we given? Count based on the criteria greater than 10. So we'll give greater than 10. Once you give this, hit OK. You can see 6. So there are there are 6 numbers which is greater than 10. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So greater than, so greater than, we are, so it says greater than, so we need to ignore the 10. So it's very simple. You can use greater than or less than. So if you want, you can give less than. It gives the numbers which is less than 10, right? So very simple and very useful to count based on some criteria. So let's move on to the next, called as count ifs. So what is count if? As it says, multiple criteria here. So since we have customer name, products, I need to know how many times Don has sold apples. Say his name and the apple would have repeated twice. I need the count. For that, you can use count. Here we just will use a s function. So count if and count if doesn't make sense because it gives it multiple criteria. So it's not that you can only use count ifs for single criteria as well for the multiple criteria. So it's not that for single criteria you should use count if. Either you can use it or you can use count ifs. Let's use count ifs for a multiple category. So we have two categories, right? One is customer and the product. It's asking for a criteria range. As I said, anything states range, go to the master data or the master file. So it says range. We'll go by one. So we have two criteria to meet here. One is customer and the product. Let's put the criteria range 1. So I'll go and select as it says range, I'll go and select the H column. In that, what we are trying to do? So H column is nothing but customer. In that, which customer we are trying to do? Dan Brown. So criteria 1, so I'll select Dan Brown here. Next criteria is products. So here it says criteria range. So I'll go back to the master data here again. In that product I column, what we're trying to search, the criteria is apple. So when you select, you can see the result here already. Just click, drag it down. Now you can see the Dan Brown apples are repeated twice, and Robert and biscuits 1. Jeremy and the lemons are 0. Tom and apples are 1. Very simple. It's not limited to two criteria. If you have multiple criteria, keep on adding the criteria using these count ifs for the multiple criteria. Let's also do one more example on count ifs. Let's go into the example 3. So now there's a little challenge here. So we have the employee names or yeah, employee names, and we have the products here on the top. So I need to know Ram how many apples he has sold, how many biscuits, how many sweets, how many lemons and pie. So same thing for every different salesperson. For that, so since we have two criteria, one is name and the products, so we can use directly a count ifs. So count ifs open bracket. So once you open this, as it says criteria range, so I'll go to the master data. So we have two criteria, one is name and the apples. So first thing I go for the name, select the entire range. So in that we are trying to look for RAM first, right? In criteria range 2 is products. So as it says range, go back to the master data. In that criteria range 2 is nothing but apples. We're trying to look for the apple. It's on the on the header. So once I select, click OK. Now you can see. I'll just hold this mouse, just drag this down to the right, to the down. Now you can see just only one value I have taken. Rest everything is showing 0. Let's remove the color. Okay. So we probably able to see this now. So why actually see, we know we have Ram has sold 2 apples. So there is Sham here. So he has biscuits. So obviously they should show some count here. It is not showing. Let's see what's the problem with the formula. Do F2. So you can see the range is selected correctly. You can move into the next cell C2, C4, sorry. So what actually is happening? Here you should have taken RAM. It is going to B column. Here it is correct, biscuits. Whereas here you can see the range is also moving. So we need to freeze the cells so that ranges are not moving. So everything is freezed correctly. For that, so what we need to do is, I know if I copy this formula, you should check for Sam, Dam and so on. And the header should also remain constant, because if you copy this down, see if you can click here, see it is coming down. Actually it should be in the Apple B3. That is also issue. So we're going to fix it by using a dollar sign. First click on this, open this range. So you can see the criteria range 1. So this M and N column are the constant of data, where data is, where master data is there. So you can go ahead and freeze those things using F4 function. On your top of your keyboard you can find F4 function. So you can see dollar sign. If you put, it adds the dollar sign. Again, it's for criteria. In that what we are trying to, A4 is nothing but the RAM. Here if you copy the formula to the right, the range, the column, a column should be constant, but the row number should change. Let's freeze. We'll put a dollar sign next to the A column. So now what it does is it will going to freeze column A, because all the names in the A column. So numbers can change because we copying the data down. We'll see how it works. Again here criteria range to N column. So we need to freeze that using F4 function. So B3 is nothing but the top row of the products. So it's the row number 3 is where all the products are there. But the column number can change, because if you copy the formula to C, D, E, and F, but the row always constant for these headers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to freeze the row number 3. So I'm adding a dollar sign prior to 3. Now if you copy, okay, if you click OK, copy this formula to the right, then down. Now you can see if you click somewhere here, it is taking exact particular salesperson, and the product here it is not changing, and the range also it is in here. So if you go here to the right, you can see taking pies and the Pam, the salesperson. So if you, anywhere if you click, so it is here, you can see this green color, and you can see this, so it is taking, and the range is correct. So very important when you're doing a adding a formula, if your say criteria is on row as well as in column, make sure that use the dollar sign. So dollar sign both the side, it's going to freeze the entire column. If you add left side of an alphabet, that is nothing but column number, it is going to freeze that column. If you add the dollar sign prior to number, it will going to log the row number. Sum if and sum ifs. What is sum if? As the name states, sum if. Sum is nothing but adding set of values based on a criteria. So sum if it says single criteria. So it's trying to sum on a based on a single criteria. So have a data here, sales, salesperson's name. We're trying to find the sales of that each salesperson. So we have the data here. H to J is nothing but the this salesperson's name, the product, and the how much of sales they have done for the month. We're trying to get values based on the in the B column based on H to J. Let's start. So before starting, we need to know what criteria we're trying to retrieve data. Since we have only one criteria, it says Ram sales name, and we are trying to find the sales for Ram, Sham, and so on. So we know the criteria is salesperson's name, and what we are trying to find is sales, right? So so let's start. Use any formula. You need to start with equals sum if. So we're using the sum if first. So you can hit a tab. So you'll get an open bracket. Click this fx function, insert function. So we'll get a function argument box. Here we have three criteria: range, criteria, and sum range. So we need to fill all these criteria to get the result. Let's go by one. Range. Range is nothing but what you're trying to sum on based on a range. So range means, so we are trying to, the criteria is name, sales name. So name. So name is in which column here? H column. So anything we are trying to look for Ram in the H column. So let's select H column because we're trying the criteria is Ram. So we have put the formula in B5. We're trying to look for Ram on which range? On the H column because names are all the names are in the H column. So I'm selecting the H column as a range. And criteria, obviously we are looking for Ram. So I'm selecting Ram here. Sum range. Sum range is nothing what we are trying to sum. As we know, the header is sales. We are trying to look for the sales. So it says range. So let's go and check in the J column. So you can see the sales here. Select. As you know, now it's the value is popping up here, 35. So in it is okay. Just drag this formula down. Now you can see the values are picked. This is very simple. So the very important thing you should keep in mind, I call it as a blind method. If anything says range anywhere in these criterias, you should always go to the master file. That always you remember. If anything says range, some range, always go to the master file and select the range. See if I have selected H column, it says range on the name column. So it says some range. So I've gone back to the master file. Say this is the master data or the master file. The criteria always one because we're trying to search for one criteria at a time. So that always keep in mind. So it's very simple and very easy to use. If you're able to fill this criteria, you'll get the result. Hope this function was easy. Let's move on to the next one. In the example 2, we are trying to, this is a criteria asking us to add only the positive numbers. So I have here sample of small data. So there it consists of positive as well as the negative numbers. So I need to add only the positive numbers. The one way of doing is equals plus plus and plus. So I able to get this value now. But say if I have a thousands of data, I need to only add the sum values. Again, it's very difficult to do manually, right? So we can use the sum function to get the values. Let's use the sum function here, sum if function. So we need to get the result here. Same thing, sum if, open bracket, use this fx insert function box. Now you can see, so the criteria. So we don't have any, we have only one criteria says we need to add all the positive numbers. The range is nothing but this is range we are trying to add, right? Select the range. The criteria, it says only add only the positive numbers. So for that you can put greater than 0. So greater than 0, it says anything 0. So if you add 0, 0 with anything, it will be, it gives the same value. So just you can put greater than 0. So now you can see the result here. So no need to, again you can go ahead and sum the range. If you do it, it doesn't going to affect anything. So let's go and select that also. So the values, summing range is nothing but same column. So click OK. Now you can see it's very easy to get the values using the sum if function. So if you want to get the negative values, just change the sign to lesser. Now you can see the result already here. Click OK. So now you got the result. So very simple. You can use the sum if function if you want to add only the positive numbers or the negative numbers, or you need to add based on say that anything greater than 50 and less than 100. So something also you can do using this function. Hope this will be helpful. So if you find, then we move on to next called as sum ifs. What is sum ifs? As the name states, it's everything same. S adding up is nothing but multiple criteria. So we have the salespersons as well as the product. The earlier example we had only the salespersons and we had salesperson and we are trying to find the sales. Here we are trying to find a particular product also. Say example Ram, I need to know how many TVs he has sold. So the data is here. So we have two criteria. One is RAM criteria and the product criteria. For that we can't use the if function. If function only gives the single criteria, but ifs gives the multiple criteria. Other than that, there is no any difference here. Let's start putting it directly. SUMF sum ifs open bracket. So now we can see sum range. So as I told, as I keep it in a blind method where it says range, directly go to the master file or the master data. So it says sum range. So we are finding for the sales. So let's go select the sales here, right? And says criteria range. Again, it says range. The first criteria range is we are trying to find the salesperson's name. So salesperson's name is in I column. So I'm selecting the I. After that, it says range 1 and criteria 1. So it gives 1 here, no? Related to that, we need to select the criteria. Since we have selected the name column, we go ahead and select the criteria as 1 as Ram here. So once you select this, you can see the result. Using the single result, you will get the value as 35. Total sales he has done. But you need to find the product. Let's move on to next criteria. Again, it says criteria range 2. The next criteria is products. So range it says, so I'll go select the product column, right? J column. Then criteria, again it says range criteria 2. You can see the 2. What criteria we're trying to do, we are looking for is product, nothing but TV. So now you see I've selected this, the result has changed here because we already select the sum range already. So click OK. Now we can drag the formula down. So Ram has sold 30 30 units of TVs. So you can see Ram 30. So let's say Sham TV has sold nothing because nothing has sold. He has sold only the mobiles. So example, if I change it here to mobile, sorry. So now we can see 75 units of mobiles he has changed. So very simple. Only thing always keep in mind, it says so as you select the criteria range 1 name, the criteria 1 should be related to name. If you're selecting range 2 as the products, the criteria should be product, selecting single product here. If you follow that, it's easy to get the result. So let's do one more example on sum ifs. Next we can move on to next sheet. So here we have same thing, we have the salespersons and the product. We are trying to find the units as well as the values. So how much of units he has sold for particular product from particular salesperson and what its sales, right? So here we have the data of that quantity as well as sales and the salesperson name and the product. Let's try putting the sum if. So since here it is two criteria, we'll use sum ifs. So I've selected sum ifs, open bracket. So again it says range. So first of all, what we are trying to sum is units, right? Here two things we are looking for, units. So sum range, here we select the quantity as the units. So it says criteria range. First criteria range is we are trying to look for the name. So it says range. Using that blind method, directly go to the name column. Sorry, I selected wrong. So sum range should be quantity. Click on to the other box. Criteria range 1. So name, we are trying to look for first name. Go by order. In that name, look for RAM. So already you can see the result here, 94. RAM total sales, total units of years sold is 94. But we need to find, this is the one criteria, but we need to find for the particular product. So it says again, go to the next, it says criteria range. Range, again we need to go to the product master file. So it says product. So we'll go to the ranges to select the K column for the products, and the criteria, it says single criteria, single one. So we'll go and select the product here, single product. So now you can see 0. So he has not sold anything of eyeliner. Let's click, drag the formula down. See, Devon has not. So yes, foundation, you can see here foundation. So let's put foundation here. Let's see, we can see the changes. Now we can see, I don't know why it is showing negative here. Let's remove negative. So now you can see 8 units he has sold. So it's very simple. So let's put the same thing for sum, for the values, sales values. Sum ifs, open bracket. So it says sum range because we are trying to sum the values, sales values, nothing but here M column. See, as it says range, I'm going back to the master file. First criteria's name, again it says range. So I'll go to the master file, select the name range. In that, what we are trying to look, RAM. Again, next criteria range, we are trying to look for the products. So it says range, I'm going back to the master file, and criteria, what you are looking in that K column, eyeliner. So now click OK. Now you can see, since it's 0 because he has not sold anything related to eyeliner. So if you want to change RAM, you see if it anywhere it's RAM. So RAM is not, RAM is here. So yes, sold some mascaras. Just copy that formula. Now it changes. See, so very simple, guys. Only thing you need to remember, as it says range, go back to the master file, select the criteria. When you select the range, same column, go and select the same related name. So if you do that, and it's easy to use and easy to get your values, and we'll be learning how to use if function. There are a lot of people think if function is difficult to use and a lot of confusion in it. But if you understand the logic clearly, then it is very simple and easy to use and very helpful function. Let's start. So have a basic if sheet. First of all, we need to know what is if function. As the description says, the if function does a logical test on a particular cell, returns one value for a true result, another for a false result. So what it trying to say is, it is going to test a particular cells based on our criteria and returns either two results. One is true result or the false result. So let's take an example. If Raju wants coffee or tea, so we are testing Raju with a logical question asking whether he likes tea or coffee. So there are two options. Either he can likes coffee or tea. So we're testing Raju. Raju is nothing but a cell, and we're giving a criteria as coffee or tea. Based on that, we'll find the result. Let's try an example. Let's take the Raju say example. Say Raju likes coffee. Okay, this is the criteria we are trying to search. So we don't know what's in the cell H4 logical test. So we are testing this cell whether he likes or coffee. We are putting a formula here. Let's use if function, if open bracket. So we are not given anything here. Say logical test, we are testing this cell. So what we are trying to test is equal to, either you can go and select this cell here, coffee, or you can write it here. So since we are writing a text, so you need to always start with the double quote coffee in with double quote. So true value. So as per our criteria, Raju likes coffee. So true is coffee. So again, give as coffee, or you can give as true. Let's give as true. So we are trying the true. So I am opening the double quote and ending with the double quote. The false again. If he is not the logical test is failing, then it will be false. So let's select this, right? So I given the, so see right now we are not uh, entered anything in H4, so it's showing a false result here. Let's click OK. Since nothing is there, showing a false result. Let's put coffee here, right? So now you can see it has changed to the true value because we have already specified the criteria as coffee. So we know that if this cell falls into coffee, equals to coffee, then it should be true or false. So so you can see here, so for the text we are given the double quotes. So let's say he likes tea. So you can use this function. A lot of people directly write the formula, that is also fine. So what's the difference between using this is writing? So sometimes you forget, uh, say example, you're not able to write if you miss a comma. Here it's use the easy option of where to fill what. So if function, so if you click on this, you have the three tests. So you easily input what necessary fields into the respective box. So logical text, again we're selecting this. So here we are trying to select, instead of criteria coffee, you select as tea. Let's see. So equals, so again double quote T in with double quote. So now if it's T, then it should be true. Again double quote true, close it, false. If it's not, now now you see, now it shows false because we are given the criteria as T here. So we are searching for a T. Since it is coffee, it doesn't going to pick. Once you change the cell to T, it changes to true. So true or false, anything you can give. So you can give as tea, he likes tea, he doesn't like coffee, something like that. You can give a comment. That we try doing it going forward, as we have three examples to see. And it's very simple and easy. You should understand the three logics here. Let's try an example. So let's go into the other sheet. So we have example one, a function. We have the names of the students, their score, and we are trying to find the result. So what's criteria? So first of all, if function, we need to know the criteria. So our criteria is 35% scoring, passing score. So criteria is we are able to find the criteria. Anybody who achieved 35 and above have the passing score. They are pass. People who are less than 35 are failed. So so we have the criteria. So we want to search this in these cells. Let's start the function result. If open bracket, we can use this function logical test. So you are testing this cell. So what we are trying to test, passing 35% passing score is nothing but 35 and above. 35 is greater than, so we'll put greater sign or equal, because if a person achieves 35 also passed, so we are putting equals, then give the number. So for numbers, you no need to put the double quotes. Only the text, any special characters, you need to start with the double quote, end with the double quotes. So the value, if it's true. So what's the value you're seeing? Passing, right? If anybody achieved 35 and above is passed. So since it's a text, we'll start with the double quote. pass, end with double quote. And what is the false result? If he is not achieved, what will be the result? In that case, failed. Again, double quote, failed. So now click OK. See, as the result is giving on the cell because it is achieved 35. Let's click OK. Now you see, right? See, the Sam has achieved 35. So yes, is failed. So let's say, let's put it as 37. See, now the sign is changing. So very simple. So first of all, we need to know the criteria. Criteria is 35 and above are passed. This is the criteria. First, you need to know the criteria. Then the formula you can go ahead and apply. So very simple now, guys. So you can copy the formula down a number of times so that it gives the result. Right. Let's move on to the next example. Example 2. Here it is little bit changed. Example 2 as okay. We have the names and the sales for the month and the target. So say example, this salesman's has made sales for the month of 1000, 6000 and 2000, and the target is nothing but monthly targets. Each person may have a different target depending upon what product they are selling. So these are the actual targets, but they have achieved only these sales for the month. We need to find. So first of all, we need to know what criteria we are trying to search. So the criteria is achieved or not, whether they achieved the target or not, that we need to find using if function. So that's the criteria we are going to search here. If equals, okay, click on this instance function, logical test. We are testing this cell. Now is the challenge where you can see sales and we have two cells here. So we need to check the target and the actual sales. So how are you going to do? Since let's say this cell sales greater than or equal, sorry, greater than or equal to. So what we are trying to do, C6 sales, if the sale is more than 5000 or equal to 5000, so we are going to select this cell. So now we are not typing the a number here because the target is changing for each cell. The other person is 5000, the next person is 4000. So if you give 5000 here, it will be constant. So based on this cell, it should pick. So now you say sales of a person is greater than or equal to the target that you have given here. If it is equal to the target, then is achieved, right? So since it is a text, we'll start with the double quote, achieved. Okay. So not, next is false is nothing but it's not achieved, not achieved. Close the double quotes. See now, I copied the formula down. So this person have not achieved the target because here his sales is 1000, whereas the target is 5000. The next person's sales is 6000, the target was 5000, so he has achieved the target. The other person is 2000 sales, but the target was 4000, he has not achieved, right? See, when you, some people directly type the formula here, that is also fine. So if you're typing, then you need to add a comma. Comma is nothing but for the next cell. So if you type this function in logical test, then you need to give comma, then you need to give the true value, then you need to give comma again, and then comma and the close bracket. Since you're using this, you can avoid giving that comma and the brackets. It may work sometimes if you are using a multiple functions as we go to the further. Sometimes it may not work. You are doing manually from here. It's also helpful. Let's see. So this you understand, guys. So we are using it two criteria. Earlier was one criteria, but here two things. We're trying to check the two cells, then to get the result. Let's move on to the third example. So here we have a multiple if function. So we have the student's name, the score. So we need to find the result. As per the first, when we did the first example, we just put anybody who crossed 35 and above has passed, irrespective of he has crossed 75, 60, 80. Whereas now the criteria has changed to multiple. Say if he is less than 35, fail, greater than or equal to 35 and less than 49 is third class, greater than or equal to 50 but less than 59 second class, greater than or equal to 60 and above is first class. So we have four criteria. Where earlier we had only two things, either true or false, either achieved or not achieved, pass or fail. But here we have four criteria. So here a little bit tricky. But if you understand the criteria and if you able to put it on a step by step, your if function works well. So one more thing very important that we need to keep in mind when you adding a multiple if function, you should always start from the bigger number to the smaller number, descending order, highest to the lowest. Very important. So you should not start the function using first function as 35, then 30, 35 and above, 50 and above, 60 and above. Not like that. We need to go by first 60 and equal to above, 50, then 35 and above, then should be the last. Why? Because first of all, if you go by ascending, if you go by smaller number, if something falls in the 75, it picks that same amount because anything greater than or equal to 35, so it takes this criteria. So you need to go by the highest number to the lowest number. Okay, let's start the if function here. If I will use this function. Let's see we are able to use this function box. So logical text. So what you are testing is we're testing this cell as what. So since we are, as I told, I need to go by the higher number, which is the highest number is 60. So we'll just go ahead and say greater than or equal to 60 should be what is the result? First class. So you can go ahead select as the open with the double quote first class. So false. So we can't give a false since we have multiple criteria. So if you give false, so then it will take everything as false. Only shows anything is greater than 60. Let's leave it blank. Now you see it gives only false. Only it shows you result where is above 60. But this we achieved. But we need to achieve the if this is this is say above 60 first class, that is fine. If it less than 60, then what should be the next criteria? So we need to add again. Since we are not given the false function, we go and add the again the if function. So here we are not going to use this box. We'll use directly here. So I put the first criteria is working fine. So you are able to find the answer, right? Again I'll go to this function here. So I closed. Remember friends, when you putting a function or any other function, this open bracket and close bracket is nothing but you're closing that function. Maybe you're completing that the entire function. So we are not completing here, so we need to remove the bracket. So when you remove the bracket, you can see this options turning up. So if you put a comma now, because we are not using that insert box, we need to put a comma. Value if false. So if it's false, but you have three criteria: second class, third class, and fails. So what is next criteria? Is second class. So what you can do is just copy this formula again. I'm just copying this formula. I've added a comma. For the false, you can see this color highlighted here. If false, I'm putting the same formula down here. So everything is same. I'll just go ahead and change the criteria as 50. Right? Second is 50, right? Anything greater than or equal to 50 should be second class. I'm just going to change the text here, true value, as second. So you can see the second true value. So you can see a comma here. So once you give a comma again, so it goes to the false. Now let's close and check whether you're able to get the second criteria. Let's hit OK. Hit OK. So you're not getting a specific because less than 30. Yes, still we are getting because it is matching the first criteria. Let's change the amount to 51. Now you see it is taking second class because first function will go and check above this cell as above 60. Since it is not above 60, the false, again we started with the function says again it will go and test a logical test again on this criteria 50. Then if it is matches, then you use the true value. So since we are not given the false, it has comes as a false here, right? It's very simple. So again, since we are not completing this function because we have two more to do, so we'll remove the brackets. So since you can see two brackets, because we are open with the one bracket here and again one bracket, so we are closing with. So always remember, if you open with the two brackets, you should always close with the two brackets here. Let's remove these brackets. Now if you remove again, we end up with the false function we have not given. So put comma again, copy this formula again till here. Yeah, if you till the class comma. So third function is 35. So just go ahead and change it to 35 and just in the double quote add it as third class. So now, so if you leave hit enter also, it takes a bracket. So we are not giving the false function, so still pending. So we end up with the true. If it is greater than or equal to 35, it gives third class. Just hit enter. So because it's asked you, because we are not given the brackets, you can see three brackets here. So we are using a three functions now. So now still it is not taking because it is less than 35. Let's put 35 and above. Now you can see third class. So we are able to find the third criteria also getting third, second criteria, first criteria. So all you are able to put it in this formula. So one is pending is false. Since false is the last option here, open the bracket because we are not done with the formula, comma to when you give the comma false function. So we can directly give it as false now because it is we have given the first class, second class and third class, and final is if it doesn't falls in any of these three criteria, obviously it should be fail. So you can directly give it as fail in the false. Just put double quote fail fail and hit enter. So now just change this cell to 34. Now what it does is it will go and check this first criteria is greater than or equal to 60. Since it is not greater than or equal to 60, the first class criteria is not met. So next what is the false? Since we started with the if function, it's going to check this cell whether it is greater than or equal to 50. Since it is not there, so true value was second class. Since it is not able to find, again false function, again we started with the if function. So again here it go and check whether it is greater than or equal to 35. Since that is also not falling here, the last option is fail. So we are directly putting it as failure. Or even you can go ahead and copy this formula. See again I'll do that in case feel why I'm just adding it here. I'm just tilting all this. Again I have started with the if function. You can go ahead and give it as less than. So since I'm not giving as equals because we are already given for 35 here. Anything less than 35 should be fail. So just put fail and double quotes close with the bracket. So I'm using only one bracket. So it will go ahead and correct the with the all respective brackets. Now you can see still it takes. So only thing, first you put one criteria, copy that, see whether it is working fine, then put the next criteria for the false and search whether it is working fine. So you should go by step by step. If you do step by step, you are not going to miss the function or anything. So majorly you need to focus on the brackets and the comma and the double quotes for any text. And it's very simple. I know if you keep working on the function, probably you'll understand and use, but keep in mind only three it has three criteria. One is logical text, true or false. Keeping that in mind, if you try putting this function, it's very helpful and very easy. Advanced filter. If you're new to this channel, do subscribe, hit the bell icon for more interesting videos and learnings. What is advanced filters? So normal filter, we use filtering using the data and filters. So if you use filters here, select this data, go to data, filters. So we can go ahead and filter. So you want to filter somebody, let's say Rajesh, Ram. So you can filter by like this. But using advanced filter, we can copy the data to a separate sheet. You can filter in a current sheet also. So let's do that. So let's remove the normal filters. So for that, let's copy the headers. Say on what basis we are trying to do the filters. So let's say I'm filtering based on the name. So I'm copying the employee name. Say I'll copy two names, Karthik and Manju. So I need to filter the people Karthik and Manju's data. Okay, let's do it. So you can click anywhere in the source data. This is the data and go to data, advanced filters. So advanced filters, when you click, it's already taking the range. If it is not taking, just delete this. So prior to that, action point. What is the action point here? It says filter the list in place or copy to the another location. But right now what we are doing is we're just trying to filter in the same place. So I'm going to select the range of this data, right? And in the criteria range, I'm just removing this criteria. I'm just trying to filter the criteria is nothing but what basis we are trying to filter it. So we're filtering based on Karthik and Manju, right? So once you select, click OK. So now you can see the Karthik and Manju's data is popped up here. And one more thing is here it is, you can see this 79 rows have been hidden. So there is no need to put a filters here. So if you want to remove the filters, advanced filters, just go to data. You can see the clear button here. Just click on this. Now it has come back, right? Let's say I'll copy the date of joining. I need to know whether Manju or Karthik joined prior to January 1st, right? 2017. But so here it says 17. So what it does, it will going to select whether these two people are joined on 1st January. But that is not the fact because we need to know if it is joined after January 2017. For that, you can put it a greater sign, greater than this date. So let's try. So what I'm doing is anything if these two people were joined after 2017, it should be filtered. So let's go to the advanced filters again. So it's list range. I can select here, or just click on the source data. Where is just click here and do the advanced filter. So automatically takes the range of that criteria. Criteria is taking only the K column, right? So we need to get the L column. Just delete it. Select the from the headers to the data. So I'm selecting the filters the list. I'm trying to filter the data. Click OK. So nobody has joined prior to. I think these two people are joined after 2017. Let's see. Clear the filters. Let's change the sign to less than this. So I'm just putting these two same. Let's do that same thing now. Advanced filters, right? The range is already taken from K to L. Not a problem. So just click OK. Oh, so what is the issue now here? So signs have not changed it here. That's the problem. So I'm just changing the signs now. Less than January. We are looking for whether they joined prior to 2017. Let's do that. So advanced filter here the range. So let's select the range here again. Click OK. So now you can see they both are joined 2015 September and the September date and the details, right? So they're able to find the details here. So click clear the buttons now. So now you got the results. Let's say I'll remove this. I need to find amount, right? So hope you can see this clearly. Amount. So let's say people who joined prior to 2017 were earning less than 20,000. So let's see how many people are earning less than 20,000 who have joined prior to 2017. Okay. So let's click on here, go to data, so advanced filter. So now it is taking the range. So again here we'll go and select the range now because we added one more column. So select the entire date. So we are left the employee name as blank. We are trying to find the date of joining and the amount column. Let's click OK. So or you can select this too. So no need of using this because it's only one criteria. So advanced filter, just remove this criteria range, select this criteria, click OK. Now you can see the 4 people who were joined prior to 2017 and their salary is less than 20,000. So easy to get the data just using this criteria, right? Let's say but I need to copy this particular date. Same thing is somewhere here down, but I need to copy only the name, amount, name and amount, right? 3 columns. So say I need to get name, date, date of joining, and the amount. Say I need to copy the designation also. Let me copy the designation to see. So what is that? So I've taken this headers. So if you take this headers, it should pull only the related data. Say I need to get only the name, date of joining, designation, the amount. Let's start doing it. Click on this source data, advanced filter. It's already selected. So here instead of filter, we are copying the data to another location, right? We need the data here. Criteria range, it's already taken, so it is taking the range correctly. Here the copy to is nothing but what you need to copy. So we are copying to here. So you need to select this headers. Remember, when you copy to this, select this header so that it will going to filter one. It will going to get the data related to this headers. Click OK. So now you can see people who have joined less than 2017 and earning less than 20,000. This data is taken here. So very simple and easy to get it here. Let's say I don't want to get the data here, but I want to get it in a new sheet. Let's create a sheet here. Let's say it's a result sheet. Okay. The criteria is same. I just copy this same thing here. Let's put it somewhere here. So let's make it a little bigger so that you're able to see. Okay. And let's it be like that. So right now I need to get the data of, say example, I need to get this only this people's result here. So I'll put the headers right now here. So let's put the advanced filters now. So select data, advanced filters. So copy to, we need to copy data, copy. The range is already selected, this range, criteria range, remove it. Copy to also remove because it is taking from here. So criteria range, I need to select the criteria is here, right? And criteria copy to is this. We should copy the data into this result sheet. Now click OK. Now you can see a error here. You can only copy filter data to a active sheet. So what he's trying to say is, so if you want to copy a data, if you putting advanced filter in the source data, it won't take. You should always put, so because the reason is because we started the advanced filter from the source data. So advanced filters, this is the source, right? We are trying to put the advanced filter from the source data. You should not do that. You should always do the end from the end result. End result is nothing but where you want to get the result is in the sheet name is result. So we need to get the result here. So you need to start from here, putting the advanced filter, right? So let's start here. Data, advanced filter. Okay. So now because now it is taken, so this is taking this range. So we need to copy the data, copy to the another location. List. This is not the list. We need to go to the source data. So go to the advanced filter. Select the source, right? Criteria is nothing but here to the new sheet. So it's already taking me to the new sheet, and copy to the here to the headers. Now hit OK. Now you can see it is taking. So always remember when you trying to put a advanced filter to a other sheet, you should always start from the end result sheet. So where you want to get the data, start from the start putting the advanced filter from there back to the source data, right? You should always remember, others you'll get the error. So now you got the details here, right? So let's delete this. So I don't want only these particular headers. So I want to get the entire headers. Say I want all the headers, all this data related to these two. Let's do it. Okay, let's clear this one. Okay, same thing. I'm starting from the result tab, advanced filter, list range is nothing but, so I need to copy the location. So I'll click on the copy to location, go to advanced. So go to this list range, click on it, go to advanced filter, select the source and criteria range. So already selected. So we'll still we do it and select this. Here it is taking the range here. So just remove it. Select only one cell. So if you select one cell, it will going to copy all the headers. So you can see name, date of joining, contact details, team, designation, everything. So if you want only particular headers, then you need to mention it particular headers. Otherwise, leave it blank. So it will take the entire data here. Let's do the same thing for a new sheet. So I'm creating a new sheet. Control N for a new sheet. So it's a new sheet. The criteria is same. So I'm copying this criteria into a new sheet. Right. This is the source. Since I need to get, say example, I need to get only the employee and the date of joining. I'll copy it here. Okay. So now, so into the new sheet, I'll be using the data validation because I need to get the result here. So sorry, not data validation. Sorry, advanced filters. Sorry guys. Advanced list range. So copy to location. List range. Go to the source. Select the source. Till down. Criteria is nothing but here. You can select this criteria, or you can select only these two. That also works. Copy to. I need to copy this only this headers related data. Click OK. So I know it has taken to the source data. Just go to the new sheet. You can see this data is already taken, right? So if you want to get, so you got the result. It's very simple. Only thing you need to, when you're trying to putting a advanced filter to a new sheet, then you should start from the sheet where you need to get the data. So very simple and very effective. You add a number of criteria and you can get the result. So I've taken only 3 headers. If you have say example, you need to get the employee number, you can put it employee number and copy. You filter it by employee number. I think it's very simple and very helpful. Hope how to use data validation, and we'll be covering 5 options of data validations. Let's start. So I have a list sheet. I have the student's name, subject, and the marks. So why is necessary to have a data validation? Say example, if I send this to a students to update their respective subject and their marks, some people will update as math, maths and mathematics. Somebody will update as science, and somebody is as CI. So now you can see 3 for same subject they are updating it differently. The people who are consolidating have a tough time to consolidate and go ahead and change the names to the one. To avoid that, we can create a drop down list using a data validation. So let's try. First of all, for that you need to create a criteria. So we have created a criteria for subjects mathematics, science, geography, social studies and civics. This is very important to standardize the criteria what you trying to achieve. So we have selected this here. So we're trying to put the data validation. So you need to know where exactly you want the drop down list. For that, say I need it in the subject column C2. So I've selected this cell here. You can go to data. You can see the option called data tools in the here. You can see this option data validation. You can see this. You can click here. The dial box, it will open up. Still, if you're not able to find, probably you're trying to search somewhere, you can use this. Tell me what you want to do. So it's like a search engine. You can go and put the type what you're trying to do. So if I type data, so now you can see the option here popping up. So anything options which is in this Excel, it will show you. So you can go and click here, it will take you the same thing. It's much easier. So in the settings, we'll go to the, since it's a list of subjects, in the drop down list, we're going to select the list now. It's asking for the source. Source is nothing but what exactly we are looking for. This is the list criteria, so that's the source. So we go ahead and click here into the box and select the range. So I'm selecting from the mathematics to civics. The range is selected. Click OK. So I've kept the cursor in the C2. Click OK. So now you can see the drop down list here now. So if you click, you can see subjects. So let's copy this same thing down so that I need to have it everywhere here. So you can see now it shows everywhere. If somebody goes and type manually, it'll throw in an error because it doesn't match with the data validation criteria. So either you need to type it as maths, so it will take. Otherwise, if it's no, you need to select the drop down list. See, people can go ahead and select. So it really helps to uh, uh, easy to consolidate, and moreover, there is no double work of going and changing the criteria. So very simple and very useful function. So you need to go to data, data validation, and the list. You can select the source of list you have created. I hope this is simple and easy to do. Let's move on to the next one. Student name and the date of birth. So we need to get the date of birth. So I have a criteria called the date should start from June 1st 2011, and the end date should be 30th May 2015. So what we are trying to get is, we need to get the students who are were, were born between June 11th to 30th May 2015. So anybody who falls into this criteria should be taken here. Anything apart from this criteria should throw an error. So let's start doing it. So let's select the range because we need the criteria here. So we already have this date criteria. Same thing, go to data tools, select data validation. So now in the data validation, you can see the settings. So since it is a date, so we'll go and select the drop down as date. It's asking between. Why between? Because there are a lot of options called between, not equal to, greater than or less than. Here we have two dates, start date and the end date. So we'll use the between. Start date. Either you can give the date directly here, either you can select the cell. So let's have the select the cell here. So I'm selecting the cell. So I'm selecting cell, but if you don't freeze this cell, and if you copying the formula down, the range also get changed because we need to log the H2 is the start date. So you can go ahead and hit the function key 4 or F4 function on the top of your keyboard, and same thing end date, select the May date. So you can see the end date H4, so again H3, sorry, and log the cells. Once you've done that, click OK. So somebody say the student goes and updates the date as of say 10th 2020. It'll going to throw an error because the end date it's ends on 30th May 2015. So you're updating on 20th 2020. So it doesn't takes. So let's try 18th July 2000. Let's say July 7 2012. See, now it is taking. So anything falls into that date, let's say put it as 2000, so it's 10, it will throw an error. Now you see anything dates falls in between these two, it will take. Apart from that, it doesn't take. Let's try one more. 2013. Now you can see, because after 2011, so anything it should take. So it's taking, say example, 31st. So May 31st, 2011. It should not take, because the start date starts from the June 1st. So 31st it is not taking. So this helps us to avoid the unnecessary where people updating which we it doesn't want, because we need the criteria. We need the people who are in these states. So it avoids them updating that, and easy to consolidate, and very helpful function. So you can use same thing, data validation, date in between. So if you are trying anything else between, you can use all these options, and very useful function. Hope this was helpful. So let's move on to the next one. So I have a student name. So we need to get the roll number and the mobile number. So as per the criteria, text length, the roll number is 4 digits and the mobile number is 10 digits. Again, if you send this to the students, probably they will update as 4 digits, and by mistake they updated as extra one digits, or for the mobile number they would have missed one number or added extra number. Again it will be a double work for going back and asking them, correcting the issue. Doing that, so that we can avoid that by using the text length. There's one more option called as text length in the data validation. So we can set a length of the text of a particular column, say particular cell. For roll number, as we know, it is 4 digits. You can set the criteria as 4. The mobile number 10 digits, you can set it as 10. So anything less or more, it will going to throw an error. Let's start doing it. Select the roll number. So you can go to the data validation. Data validation, you can see the allow again. So you can see text length. So you can set the text length. So there's a lot of options here. Since we know that roll number is 4 digits, so we'll select only the equal to 4. So once you select 4, click OK. So I have already set this range. Now somebody goes and update, as it will take. Anybody update less than that, it will going to throw an error. Or if you update more than 4 digits, it will going to throw an error. So that here only they'll correct the mistake while updating that. Let's say the mobile number. Again we select this range. Go to data, text to column, data validation, text length equal to 10 digits. So now it is taking. If somebody goes and update 10 less, it will going to throw you, unless you update the correct number. It doesn't allow you to update. So let's say I updated here. So this is very simple, right? So here you can see, sorry, it takes anything less or more, it will throw an error. So in first case, people, once you give this data, ask them to update, they'll update correctly, because it will throw an restriction if they update incorrectly. So it will save your time and easy to consolidate. And there is one more loophole in this data validation is, say example, have this data, mistakenly copying this from some other sheet and pasting the roll number here, it will take. In spite of I have set this as a data validation, but still if I copy paste it here, it will going to take this number without throwing an error. So in that case, say you have only 10 digits of now. Maybe you have a 500 people's data you're consolidating. Again, you're not sure whether people are typed it or they copied somewhere from the other sheet. To check whether they updated correctly or not, you can select this range. Say I have select this range. There's one more option called as circle invalid data. It will going to circle the wherever the cell has the invalid data after setting the data validation. We already set this with data validation for 4 digits. You can click on the circular invalid data option, so it will mark in circular on the particular cell. Let's do again data validation and the data tools. You can see a circular invalid data under data validation below. So circle invalid data. So when you click this, you take, let's try again. So why it is not taking? Let's check whether we have set this and data validation. So it's already there, 4 digits. Now you try. Now you see. So we already set data validation. You can go and select, click on once again. Then now it's popping up here. So unless you change it correctly, now the circle has gone. Let's say type it as, no, it is not taking because you're typing it. Again, if you copy paste. So and the problem is with this, when you copy paste, again we need to select this range. Say once already everybody is consolidated, then go to data validation. Just go ahead and click OK. Then you try doing the circular invalid thing. So then it will pop up you the error. Same thing here. Say I copied somewhere from the mobile number, half of the mobile number, and pasted here. In that case, once you select this validation, you already set this validation because yes, copied the from and pasted here. Then the probably the data validation won't be working. So go select the data validation first, 10 digits, click OK. Now you can see throwing an error now, unless somebody goes and update correctly, it doesn't allow, right? It's very simple and very effective. Say in case you need to check the errors, you can use this circular invalid data option. Hope this function was helpful. Let's move on to the data validation formula. There's one more sheet called data validation. I have a data here. So okay. So there's a budget limit of 3 lakhs. So every month, say every day, you're spending that budget amount for buying or doing for operation of your business. It should not exceed more than this 3 lakh. So we can set some formula where the people who update more than 3 lakhs, it will throw an error. So let's try doing it. So this is the budget, where this is the criteria. So first of all, we need to select the range. So where anybody update the amount should throw an error if it's more than 3 lakhs. Should be less than 3 lakh or equal to 3 lakhs. So I'm selecting this column D. Go to data validation. Under data validation, allow, go to the customs. So you can set the formula here. So as you write the formula, say equals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sum all this cell. If everything is summing less than 3 lakhs, you should allow. If it's summing up all this is more than 3 lakhs, then you should throw an error. Let's do sum. I'm going to select this range till here, right? I'm going to close this bracket. So this range should be locked. So I'm going to lock this using the F4 function. So you can click select all, use a F4 function, and so after totaling, it should be less than or equal. So I'm using the less than and equal to this cell, right? What we are trying to do is we are totaling this range, and it should be less than or equal to 3 lakhs. So again, it is D5. So we need to log this cell because it's in D5. So we are going to log this cell using F4 function. Click OK. So now you can type, say it will take, if you update 5 lakhs, it will throw in error because it is exceeding the budget limit. So that is also helpful, where some people who are update, you should spend according to the, or if somebody is updating the values, they mistakenly updated extra 0. You should not take unless, because budget limit is only 3 lakhs. So very simple and very helpful. So avoiding the errors. These things will help you to avoid unnecessary typo errors, and again reworking on the same file. So what we did is just I'll show you, select this range, go to data. We are totaling this, we summing this range less than or equal to the 3 lakhs. So if you are totally it anywhere here, it should be less than 3 lakhs. If it is exceeding 3 lakhs, then it will throw an error. So very effective and very simple function. So let's move on to the next one called as dependent or dynamic dependent drop down list. Favorite food, my favorite dish. And the criteria is pizza and the cakes. And under pizza, we have the cheese, eggs, and chicken list, and cakes. We have the plum cake, and rum cake, and the fruit cake. So when you select the pizza here, I need to get the options, these things in the my dishes. Same thing for cakes. If I select cake option here, I should get all these option in the this. Let's try how can we can get a dependent or dynamic dependent drop down list. So first of all, we need to select this, my favorite food. Here we need to select either pizza or the cake. So we need to get the drop down only the pizza and the cake. So I'll keep the cursor here to go to data validation again under list. So source, I'm going to select these two options because only the two option comes under this criteria. So I'm going to select this, click OK. Now you can see pizza or the cakes. So now we need to get the next part of this, the types of dishes. So you can first of all for that we need to do a small change. Select this range, go to formulas, header, under formulas and the define names. You can go ahead and select the create from the selection. Click on this. You should select this range and go to formulas and select the create from selections. Under this, select on the top row. Top row is nothing but the headers. So top row, the range. So click OK. So once you done that, click the cursor on the my dish F2. Go to data validation again. Data validation. Under this list, we'll go to set a small formula. So we're going to link this cell along with this so that the drop down is picked. For that you can use a indirect function. Use equals indirect, open bracket, select the cell, close the bracket. So I'm under the list. I'm just going to link this cell using this C3. Click OK. So I've selected cakes. Now you can see the option here. Now it shows. So either thing you can select. Let's say I will change it to pizza. Now it will show you only the pizza related dishes. So very simple and very helpful. Only thing is for this you need to select the data validation, these two. Once you selected that drop down, then you need to select this, go to formulas, under create from selections, select the top row. Then later click on this, go to data validation again, list, under list, just put the formula indirect, select the C3 cell drop down. We are linking this cell, it works. So anything can select true or false. So you'll get the options here, and very helpful and very useful when you create some dashboards or anything, so they can set this criteria. A text formula, and I'll try to cover three scenarios of text formula, and probably there are a lot of options. I will try to cover three, which may be helpful. Let's start. As you can see a data, I'm in prefix sheet. In D column, there's a company codes. Let assume a company code has 4 digits, maximum 4 digits number. As you can see here, it is only 345 and 324, 22 and 21. Say the company would have started earlier. This would have the first company it is started, so it is 1. So what we are trying to do is, I just want to add a 0 next to the prior to the number. Let's try adding manually. See, now it is not taking. The other option is try to add single quote and add a 0. Now it takes. The problem is if you have only the 6 to 7 lines or 10 lines maximum we can do manually. Say if you have a data around 1000 lines, then it is difficult to add manually. For that reason, we can use a text formula to add the zeros. Let's start. See, we have the data here. So let's start with the form. Any formula, you need to start with equals or plus. So let's start with equal text, open bracket. You can hit a tab. So it's open a bracket. So a lot of people directly write the formula from here. Let's do there other option called insert function. Let's click on this. As you can see, a function argument box has popped up. So we can add the values. It is easy to add each box so that we know what we are adding there. Let's start. It's asking for a value. The value is nothing but the which cell you're trying to add the text format. I know it's D3, so I have selected this cell. Let's move into the other box. Either click tab or directly you can click on the mouse. So as we know, the company code is 4 digits number, maximum 4 digits. So we're trying to add we'll start with double quote, add 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and close the double quote. Remember friends, any special characters, any word we're trying to add in a formula, you need to start with double quote, end with double quote. Here I know the 0 is a number, but still we're trying to get it in a text format. So I'm starting with the double quote, ending with double quote. Once you add this, as you can see here, result popping up here as well as here, it gives the result. So we know what we are typed, whether we typed rightly or wrong, it'll give the result here. So let hit OK. So now you can see 0 is added. I'll just drag down or copy the formula down. So I'm just dragging this formula down. Now you can see for 1 it has taken 3 zeros, 22 2 zeros, and 324 it has taken single 1 0. And once you copy the formula, copy this again, select the range, copy, right click, paste, special values, space special, because so we don't want to keep the formula. If you want to keep it formula, you can leave it like that, or if you want to space special, now you can see it has taken zeros. It's very simple guys, and probably it would be helpful whenever you come across any scenario like this. It is not limited for four digits. You can add, say company code has 5 digits, add 5 zeros. If it's 10 digits, add 10 zeros. So depending upon your requirement, you can add a number of zeros. Okay, let's move on to the next called date sheet. You can see here in column C there are some dates, and we want to. So what I'm trying to get it here is, I know it's May 13, 2020. I want to get it in words. Say May 2020. So I know it's April 2020. I need to get like that. So let's try using the formula. Remember guys, and days it's T, for months it is M, year it is Y. So these three alphabets we'll trying to go use in the text formula. Let's try text, open bracket, tab. I use this text function. So I'm just trying down little. So it asks value. I know this is a cell I'm trying to change. So it says format text. So what you're trying to look out? So I'm trying to look out for a month. I need a hyphen year. So month. So what I'll do? Add M, 3 M's. So 3 M's is nothing but it says May, M-A-Y, May. So for that I'm adding 3 M's. If you add only 2 M's, it will take only 0.5. So since I need a text, I'm adding 3 M hyphen year. So let's add 4Y to have 2020. I know it's not popping up here. Let's hit OK. Guys, see now you can see May 2020. You can just drag the formula down. So it has taken. It's very simple and very helpful. So let's add something here. Again we'll add D. So after double quote, adding 3 D's. Now you can see the result here. Wednesday, May 2020. Let's see it. So very simple. So it doesn't want, say example, you don't want entire year, just delete 2 Y's. It's very simple, guys. So whichever parameters you can change. So you can keep day and month or month and year. So always start with double quote, end with double quotes, and it is very simple, and it can be used in our any other scenarios you come across on the date. You're trying to get it in a text format. Hope it was helpful, guys. And if you're fine, just I'll try to move on to the next sheet called concatenate. So as you can see, this is serial number, name, date of birth. So what I'm trying to do is I want to concatenate both Raj as well as the date in one. But I need to add a hyphen in between that. Guys, you can use AND function and or you can use concatenate. Let's start with adding AND. So Raj and so as you know, I'm using a special character. I need to get a hyphen between two columns. So for any special character or word, we need to add double quotes. Let's start with double quote, hyphen, close the double quote, add again and. So select the cell C3 for the date. Now you can see the result. It says Raj and gives the numerical value, but it doesn't say that correct date of birth. So again, it is difficult to, because since it is getting converted into a number, so it is taking the number instead of date. So that's the reason for that. What we can do, we can add a text formula. Let's try using the text formula here, right? So again, text, sorry. So select the Raj, add and. So I need to get a hyphen in between the columns. So I'm adding open bracket. So double quote, hyphen, close it, double quote, add again and. So since I'm trying to take directly C3, let's start with the text formula. Text, open bracket, tab. You can use this function. So value 3, I know I need to get this date. I'll select the date. I'll just move on to the next format text. Let's. So what we are trying to get is here. So I need to get as it is in the column C. See, it says 13 hyphen July hyphen 90. I need to get it some same. So I don't need to change anything there. Let's add that. So it's 13 is nothing but day. So add two D's hyphen. July is, it has 3 characters, sorry. So let me add 3 characters. M. Here it is 2. So let me add Y. So I have not added the double quotes. The one advantage of using this function is it automatically takes the double quote. So when you're trying to add manually here in the formula without using this, you need to add a double quote. Here the advantage is uh, it automatically knows whether it is text or number. So I know it's not showing the value here. Let's hit OK. So now you can see I've just hit. Now it's taken 13 July 1990. Raj, it gives the overall result. Raj hyphen 13 July 90. So I'll just drag this or copy down the formula down. Guys, you can see the names along with their date of birth. So what we did, we just added DD for two digits number. Month it is 3 digits, 3 alphabets. So I'm adding 3 M's. For year it is 2. So I'm adding 2 Y's. So it's now you can see here it's already in the double quote. Guys, it's very simple. I know text formula can be used for a lot of other options. I just try to cover the 3 criteria. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for your time. Hope you like the video. If you like the video, kindly subscribe for more interesting videos and trainings. And thank you again. Happy learning. See you again with new videos.